Order, please rise for the pledge of the allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Human?
Yes.
Lentine?
Here.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second motion.
Yes, would you read the consent agenda also before we proceed?
It's the minutes from the City Council meeting December 8th, 2015, along with resolutions 110, 111, and 112, which 110 is confirming the appointment by the Mayor of Ann Bloomberg as a member of Civil Service Commission of the City. Resolution 111 is the confirming the appointment by the Mayor of Carl J. Carter as a member of the Civil Service Commission of the City. Resolution 112 is confirming the reappointment by the Mayor of James Redmond as a member of the Civil Service Commission of the City. Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Human?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to reports. Mayor Roach?
Yes, I'm very happy to report that we're closing the year in a very positive note. Our fiscal strength is sound with solid balances in our accounts. We have recently concluded an audit cycle in record time that showed major improvements, and that we have plans in place for continuous improvements. This week, we have been interviewing to fill our recreation director position. Our next newsletter, City Edition, is scheduled for mid-January. We're just wrapping up with the county on our new website. We'll be introducing a new e-newsletter, and we'll have comments and contacts section there. Our next Community Conversations event is planned for February 3rd. That's a Wednesday in February, first Wednesday in February. And I'd also like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, season's greetings, and a happy, prosperous, and healthy New Year. So that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to comment as we go along.
Thank you. Fire Chief Newman?
Thank you, Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council, and members of the community. Be very brief this evening. We did have a Heart Saver CPR AED course at the fire station on Monday, December 7th. 5 citizens participated and were certified in CPR. Our next class will be held in February. We haven't established a date yet. It'll be determined soon. Our class size is limited to 12 students per class. The classes are free to residents of Richmond Heights. If anybody's interested in the class, there's more information on our website, and they can call me directly at 216-383-6304. That's all I have to report this evening. With that, I'll take any questions.
Madam President, I have a question for both chiefs. It was brought to my attention that intersection traffic signals, they do not go on automatically like some other communities when there's an emergency going through the intersections. Is this true? And if so, what do we have to do to get our traffic signals up to snuff? I know communities, when an ambulance or a police car is chasing some type of emergency, the signals go on, the lights stop, and it gives those guys a little better chance of getting through the intersection. It's under my understanding, we don't have any of those. Is that true, and what do we need to do to correct it?
Yeah, those are, they're called preemption devices, and it's part of the traffic signal, but each vehicle also has to have a unit that can communicate with that piece.
So is that more expense to us as a city? Is
Yeah.
that, I'd like to talk about this a little bit more and possibly our safety committee to see exactly what's involved. Thank you.
Mr. Alexander?
It's been talked about on several occasions, and the cost is extreme. I mean, it's not, like the chief said, it's not only the traffic signals and the signals, some of those have to be updated, that, when we talk about some of the old signals, some of those won't accept some of that stuff, so those all have to be updated. It's a big number, but I think it's a number that we should talk about, and maybe we'll see.
We do have a hospital, we have
But other
lot of
cities,
traffic.
other cities, not every traffic signal. It's like Mayfield Road is done, and maybe Wilson Mills is done in some areas, but not every traffic signal is done in those things. And we always looked at it as a council, one of the reasons the council always looked at it is, we figured the money was better spent either in more personnel or whatever, and we have a hospital. I mean, we're very fortunate that no matter where you go in our city, we're probably tops 3 miles from the hospital. In other words, we're not going a long distance. We're very fortunate. in
But
that.
there's a lot of other cities coming through our community, going to our hospital.
A few, not many.
Well, it's a hospital, so you're gonna have some.
No, I think we should
You're
just,
gonna have some.
we should just let him handle
Yeah.
that as committee, because I have a long night tonight. Thank you. So we'll put it in safety.
Real quick comment is a lot of the other cities got grants for their signal controls and, mastheads and other things, so a lot of our and so I think we've continually tried to get some grants for this. I know we were trying to get the signalization changed when we had the construction. We had a $3 million construction on Highland Road, and we're trying to get that as a part of that construction, to update the signalization there.
Okay,
We're not successful, so we're hoping to get some grants to help pay for implementation of the signalization. Thank you.
thank you. All right. Any more with your reports? Any more questions? All right, so then we'll move on. I lost my order, but I'll go to Mitch.
No, it's please.
Steve? I'm sorry. See, I always do that. Sorry about that.
Thank you,
Supervisor
Madam,
Stevens.
thank you, Madam President,
Thank you.
Mayor Roach, members of the council, members of the community. First of all, I wish everybody a happy holiday season, and give personal thanks to council and the mayor for all your support this year and the operation of the police department. As far as police activity, our Part 1 crimes are down about 2% compared to last year. The major reason for that was a huge decline in our burglaries. Our burglaries are down 61% compared to last year. Our calls for service are up 9%, taken 6% more reports than last year at this time. Our arrests are up 28%. Our CAT entries, which measure all of our police activity, are pretty much the same as they were in 2014. The mall accounts for 5.2% of our calls for service, 12% of our arrests, and our 3 major apartment complexes account for 19.1% of our total calls for service. It was nice to see in the mail yesterday that we received half of our DARE grant. They split it up now into 2 payments. We get one at the beginning of the year, and then when the program is done, we'll get the second half of that. It was $1,046.50, and we'll give another installment of that probably around May of June. That's all.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? Building Commissioner, Bill Stevens, not here tonight. We'll go on to Finance Director, Mitch McKinley.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor Roach, members of the council, and members of the community. Just briefly tonight, Finance Department, of course, has been busy with the working to wrap up the end of the year activity and start this year, as evidenced by a lot of the legislation that you have on the agenda tonight. One of the things that is sort of an added layer of complexity this year, and you'll be seeing this a month or so from now on W-2s as they come out, is we're now in a position where we have to comply with certain provisions of the Affordable Care Act. So people who receive insurance within the city, their W-2s going to look a little bit different, and I was notified via email from the insurance companies today that they'll be sending out things to individuals, certain forms to help them prepare their taxes for these changes. And that's my report for this evening, unless there are questions.
Any questions for the Finance Director? All right, thank you. We'll move on to the Service Department Director, Donna from the city.
Thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to let everybody know that today was actually our last day for picking up leaves. It was about a week ago, but there were still people that had them out there, so we made one more trip around the city, and it should be all completed from here on out. They have to tag them and put them away that way. As you see, we have some equipment inside the council chambers here. We started doing the video installation, and it should be done by the next council meeting, hopefully, and everything will be up and running. We had our used/new plow trucks out over the weekend, and they were as well as we expected. The guys were very happy with the new system that we have on our trucks. So thank you for those. And our gov deals as of today, we have sold 13 vehicles that we had stored over at the service department. We had bids of, we were expecting to get $7,800. We ended up getting $16,485 for all the vehicles. We had 9 of the 13 vehicles, we ended up getting more money than what we were looking to get. We had 4 police cars, 5 of our service trucks, and 1 SUV. And we still have more on gov deals at the present time. We just had 3 of them that just went through this week already. So it's been very good for us. And I'm hoping to get rid of the rest of them by spring. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for me? All right. We'll move to City Engineer Lee Corder.
3 items, Madam President. Highland Road construction has been finalized. To date, the contractors received over $3 million. That includes the portion of the city of Euclid. I have asked the county if they have a breakdown between Euclid and Richmond Heights, but I doubt if they keep the records that way. But I'll let you know more on that when I find out. Impending construction, Cleveland Water has hired a contractor to replace 2 valves on the 54-inch water main in Highland Road. We've advised the contractor we want a pre-construction meeting with service, police, and fire before they start. That will probably be later this month. And as far as future work, the stormwater fees that were collected by Regional Sewer District in 2013 and put in escrow, while the Supreme Court heard the case, those escrow funds have been released. There's about $36,000 in the Richmond Heights account. And those fees will start being billed again in the middle of this year. And we will have to sign an agreement with Regional Sewer to be able to get the funds. So that will probably be coming before the service committee sometime later this winter.
Any questions for Mr. Gordon? We'll move on to the Economic Development Director, Crystal Best.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor, members of council, and members of the community. I will be very brief this evening with my report. We now have 2 of our dilapidated houses that were demolished in the last 2 weeks, one on Richmond Park West and the other one on Highland. And so that will definitely go a long way toward improving the overall look of Richmond Heights as far as not having blighted properties. We also received from the county another demolition bond fund award for 2016 of $24,000 to do 2 more houses. So it's been really rewarding working with the city's building department, the law director, the mayor, and working to get these funds to take care of these houses that need to be torn down. And I guess the question of the hour is what's going on with the gas station. I know a lot of people have seen the backhoe over there and are waiting with much anticipation as to when the building will actually be demolished. The mayor and I were on the phone a lot today with the land bank. We are hopeful that it will happen before the year is out, but at this point, I cannot give you a date certain. Obviously, the equipment is there. I can't give you a date certain as to when it will happen, but you can tell it's imminent. And then last of all, I just hope that everyone has a really safe and happy holiday, and that the new year will bring with it everything that you all would want or hope for. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I will open the floor to the audience, but I will add that I'm going to open the floor to the audience 2 times tonight because we have special things occurring. So if anyone wants to speak right now, you're free to do that. Otherwise, and I would like to acknowledge a couple people too myself. County Councilwoman Sunny Simon is here. Our dear past mayor is here, Mr. Ursu. I'm almost, you're not past. And some of our other friends here I see who are familiar in the audience. So I'll let you go.
Thank you. Greetings. I wanted to come tonight just to say happy holidays, happy New Year, season's greeting, Merry Christmas, and let everybody know that I've met with your mayor and your economic development director to make sure that the progress goes forward with regard to the gas station, that I was there at the beginning and want to make sure that carries out how we intended it to, with removal of the tanks, demolition, and be able to make that property ready to redevelop. So, and we are expanding our equipment share with this, along with the state. Our Public Works Department is going to have equipment to share with the different communities. So I look forward to working with Richmond Heights with that after our council approves the legislation, which will be upcoming, and hope to work with all of you and want to congratulate everybody on their elections, and see you at the end of the meeting with your other part of the opening comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for all your help that you've given us this year.
Thank you.
Any more comments? Okay, then we will move to old business. Thank you. And we have none, so then we'll move on to new business.
Under new business, we have resolution 109/2015 introduced by O'Toole, first reading. A resolution authorizing the Director of Finance to perform certain interfund transfers and declaring an emergency.
Mr. O'Toole, do you have comments?
Madam President, yes, I do. Every year at this time, we end up doing a minor juggling act where we move monies around between the funds so that the amount of money that we have in the funds equals the amount of money that we spent from those funds. In essence, those funds need to be in balance by the end of the year to make our good friends, the auditors, happy campers. And this legislation is outlined in Exhibit A, and it shows the individual funds where we make transfers. Some of them were scheduled at the beginning of the year. Some of them, we made some recent decisions to move some monies around. And when we pass this legislation, assuming that we do, the funds at the end of the year will all be in balance, and things will be good in Richmond Heights. So I move for a suspension of the rules.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Human?
Yes.
Monteith?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Hoover?
Second.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Resolution 109, 2015 passes unanimously.
Resolution 113, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor and finance director to close certain inactive bank accounts and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, do you have comments?
Yes, this is a housekeeping piece of legislation. It's getting the council's authorization to close accounts that we have closed in the past, and I would recommend its passage.
Move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Resolution, that was 113, 2015 passes unanimously.
Resolution 114, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Assurant Employee Benefits for vision, dental, life insurance, and accidental death and dismemberment benefit plans for 2016 and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, do you have comments?
Yes, this completes our healthcare and benefits package. We previously passed our healthcare coverage with no increase for the year, and this one has a minor increase in the dental coverage, but I would recommend its passage.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan. O'Toole.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Resolution 114, 2015 passes unanimously.
Resolution 115, 2015, introduced by O'Toole, first reading. A resolution requesting the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer to advance taxes and assessments from the proceeds of tax levies pursuant to section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
O'Toole, do you have comments?
Yes, I can comment, Madam President. This legislation simply asks the county to release the monies that they've collected on our behalf so that we may spend them on things we think are good for the city. I will move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Resolution 115, 2015 passes unanimously.
Resolution number 116, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing a contract with Senior Transportation Connection to provide senior citizen and disabled person transportation in the city.
Mayor, do you have comments?
Yes, this is a continuation of a previous contract, essentially with the same stipulations. I would move for its passage, or recommend this passage. The only other comment is that we will be trying to advertise, making sure that everyone in the residents are aware of this service. Yeah. Thank you.
Move for suspension.
Second.
Yes.
Alexander. Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Move for passage. Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Human.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Resolution 116, 2015 passes unanimously.
Ordinance number 117, 2015, introduced by O'Toole, first reading. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Richmond Heights, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2016, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. O'Toole, do you have comments?
Yes, I do, surprise. In order for the city to spend money, council has to appropriate funds. And since we haven't gone through our budgeting process yet for 2016, this is a temporary appropriation, basically stating that we can spend up to 4 months' worth of expenditures based on last year's expenditures, and allow us to have money to spend and to be properly appropriated according to the way the auditor wants it to happen. So I would move for suspension of the rules.
Second motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentini?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. O'Toole?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentini?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Resolution 117, 2015 passes unanimously.
Ordinance number 118, 2015, introduced by O'Toole, first reading. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Richmond Heights, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015, to amend appropriation ordinances previously adopted in 2015 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. O'Toole, do you have comments?
Yes, ma'am. This legislation is the summary of all the appropriations that we have done as a city council this year. We made an original appropriation when we finished our budgeting process, and along the way we have made some changes in appropriations. Some were increased, some were decreased, and what this legislation does is it summarizes all the expenditures that the city has made throughout 2015 for the purposes of most likely future audit and keeping track of how we spend our money. So I'll move for suspension of the rules.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentini?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. O'Toole?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentini?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Yes.
Ordinance 118, 2015 passes unanimously.
Ordinance 119, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. An ordinance to budget for the current and expected revenues of the city of Richmond Heights, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015, and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, do you have comments?
Yes, this is a piece of legislation that allows us to provide for the current and expected revenues of Richmond Heights during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015. So that was this year's.
Yes.
So this brings us in line with the county estimates.
Yes, if I may, we typically have to comply with what the county issues as what's called the Certificate of Estimated Resources, which summarizes essentially what they project for our revenues and what we appropriate against those projected revenues, plus any carryover from the prior year. What this essentially does is it brings into line more closely our revenue estimates, because at the beginning of the year, we're essentially starting out with our best guess. And as we get closer to the end of the year, we're able to refine those estimates. And this is the end of the equation as far as what the resources are that the city has to spend, and what we appropriate on the other side has to be in line with that. In other words, we cannot appropriate in excess of what our estimated resources are. So this is the one side of the equation, and the other side was the other piece of legislation we just spoke about.
Thank you.
Move to suspend the rules. Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentini?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
before I vote, I'll just make the comment that in this legislation, we received roughly $17.8 million, and in the previous legislation, we appropriated $17.6 million. So we appropriated less than we took in. That's the whole idea of this exercise, so I vote yes.
Thank you.
Second?
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes?
Lewis,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
Ordinance 119-2015 passes unanimously. I entertain a motion to amend the agenda.
So moved.
Yes.
We're adding resolution 120, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach and council members Henry, O'Toole, Alexander, Lewis, Lentine, and Cumin. A resolution of appreciation and commendation to Marcia Starkey Morgan for her long-standing stellar service to the city. Whereas on December 22nd, 2015, Marcia Starkey Morgan announced she will not take office for a new 4-year term as Ward 1 council member of the city of Richmond Heights, after nearly 42 years of service on city council and several other years of public service positions in the city. Marcia has resided in the city for over 57 years and is the longest-serving elected official in the city's history. Marcia was the first woman to run for a seat on council and for the office of the mayor in Richmond Heights, at a time when women were not encouraged to run for office and few women were in elective office. Marcia refused to accept the status quo or quit in the face of adversity. Marcia has had the respect of her colleagues, as evidenced by many times she has appointed as acting president of council and acting mayor during temporary vacancies. Marcia is a passionate, compassionate, intuitive, open-minded humanitarian with a strong group of supporters and friends, and truly exemplifies professionalism, energy, and style in all aspects of her life. Marcia has always been a strong voice for the city of Richmond Heights, and particularly her ward constituents and interests, and shares her wisdom with all those around her. Marcia's long-standing, stellar, tireless, and steadfast efforts will surely be missed in City Council. The mayor and members of City Council, on behalf of themselves, the citizens, directors, and employees of the city, desire to publicly acknowledge Marcia's achievements and to commend her and express their appreciation for her many years of extraordinary public service. So they are passing resolution 120, 2015.
Thank you. And I think Mr. O'Toole did something even more special with that. Oh, yes, we better pass that one first, because we have so many different forms, so we better pass it. Okay, one second, did we pass it yet, Bill?
No, we haven't passed.
Okay,
Could I comment on the motion briefly?
yes.
So 42 years is what I was told by another council member, Madam Councilwoman has served. And so I ran through a quick calculation, 42 years, 12 months, 4 meeting nights each month. When you take 42 times 12 times 4, you come up with 2,016 meeting nights. And I thought that's a tremendous indication and puts into context your commitment to the city, Marcia. Congratulations on a wonderful career.
Thank you. Thank you. We better do a roll call on it before we forget.
I move to suspend the rules.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Cumin.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Move for passage.
O'Toole.
Yes.
So we can skip you, Tammy. All right.
In passage,
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Cumin.
Yes.
Lentine.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
O'Toole.
Yes.
So I just want to show the different forms of this resolution that she has. Betsy, will you stand with yours there? And thanks to the handiwork of Mr. O'Toole, she gets it in these other forms as well. And before we close all this up and open the floor to other people, the council members also got her this. Some flowers. Oh, you like it. You need a truck to carry sometime. Well, thank you.
Comment?
Yes, we should ask you, do you have any comments? You like to say anything or do cartwheels? Because we all found out she's a real good dancer this last weekend too.
Well, gee, I've been wondering, I'm not going to get through this, but I just want to say, I never knew how I was going to be able to quit or give up, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But I want to thank all the employees of this city who voiced back me up and did a good job in my ward. And all my fellow council members through the years, and the mayors, and the friends I've made, and the friends I've made in the ward, and the opportunities I wouldn't have had if I hadn't had this job. So thank all of them.
Thank you.
And I'll be around, I'll be in the audience.
Oh, sure.
So, thanks again.
Thank you. And then we'll go back to the floor and ask for any comments. So each council person, you got your chance to start with Alexander. Do you have a comment?
Marcia, I've got two brief things. I've been on 18 years, and I tell people that I've been a councilman for 18 years, and they look at me like I'm crazy, like, how did you ever do and put up with the public? And I tell people in response, I says, I know the lady that doubled me up and then some. And they all said, I want to meet her. And the other thing, and I said it to Marcia the other night, and I'll say it again. When I came on, Dan brought me on. And I actually turned him down a couple times. I didn't want to do it. Got talked into it. And during that whole time, I didn't know anything about city council, city government, nothing. And there was two people that I leaned on heavily. One was Ray Laushin and the other one was Marcia. And you could always count on Marcia if you had an issue or something that you needed something to talk about. You could stop and have coffee and she would go over it. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I wrote down a few things, and I have to agree with our former mayor, Ursu. His numbers are right, and I have some. Marcia Starkey Morgan is, of course, the councilwoman in Ward 1. She was first elected in 1973. To give you an idea when that was, Richard Nixon was our president. Gasoline was 38 cents a gallon. American Graffiti, The Exorcist, Serpico, The Sting, and Jesus Christ Superstar were some of the more popular movies of that year. Marcia has been on the city council for 42 years, which equals, as the former mayor has said, 504 months, 2,016 city meetings. An average of 3 hours per meeting equals 6,048 hours, or 252 days. Double that for work at home, you now have 504 days, or 1.4 years of time spent on city business. She has served under many mayors, council people, and department heads. The city in Ward 1 is lucky to have her. But this is not a roast on Marcia. What I would like to say is one of her favorite referrals. When she calls you kid, I take that as a double meaning. One, you got her attention because now she's got yours. And the second one is that she's been there and she's done that. This is her way of telling you she has been there and done that. I've had the pleasure of serving on city council with Marcia twice. This is my second go-around, which is adding up to about 15 years or so. When Marcia speaks, many others listen. I will always value my time with her on council, and I have learned a lot from her. And I would like to say, this one kid will miss you. I'm proud to call you my friend. I love you. Thank you.
Gee, Chris. Okay, Mr. Toole, you're next.
Well, that's going to be hard to follow.
You're right.
I ditto all those comments. One of the things that I learned 2 or 3 things that were important from Marcia. And one is, she never really beat around the bush. You never really had to prod her to find out what she really thought. And that's valuable in a politician. She's not a politician, she tells it like it is. And the other thing that I learned is that you never want to misspell her name, because she'll never let you forget it. So, but we'll be around, I appreciate it.
Mr. Hunt.
Well, I've had the pleasure 21 years ago to be appointed by Mayor Ursu and approved by City Council. Of course, Marcia was on City Council. I've been at this for 32 years now as a lawyer, advising and representing city councils and mayors, including the current Cleveland mayor, including George Voinovich and others. And I'll have to say that you measure up to everyone and surpass almost all of them in terms of your dedication, your diligence, and your wit. And I really will miss you, Marcia. So stay around and don't leave.
Oh. Mayor?
Yes, I want to second all those accolades, Marcia. They all tremendously fitting. I wanted to take some special appreciation to your dedication to the city and your interest of preserving history. A couple of things that I did get an email just recently from the state that Greenwood Farms is going to be put on the National Register in February. So I thank you for assisting in that, being on the board and etc. You did a lot of work and tried to continually improve the quality of life with the residents of our residents, and so really appreciate that. And looking forward, we want you to join us with the lunch punch and the bowling, other city events. We're really looking forward to continuing involvement in the city.
Right, well, I'll be sort of brief. I came up with a lot of the words on the proclamation. Todd polished it up, and all of my colleagues helped with that. So the part where I said the lady with style and the broad-minded, that's you. And you're also a very good friend. And it's so funny because I'll tell a lot of people about you. I'll refer to you about some things. And they'll say, we're so much alike. I say, but the irony of it is she's only like about 4 feet something tall. So, but we are so much alike, and we always have a lot of fun. So you'll always be my friend. So I'm going to keep you to your word, making sure you do show up here. Yeah. Betsy, would you like to say anything?
Yes, I've been here for 15 years and I'm really going to miss Marcia. I loved when she was in charge of the meetings because I always knew that meeting was going to go fast. And there wasn't going to be any silly or frivolous talk going on. So I'm really going to miss Marcia.
So we hear the truth, what she thinks about these meetings.
Frivolous.
Silly.
I was just going to say, as the junior most member here, I probably will have the least to say. I just want to tell you it's been an honor to serve and to learn from you, and I'm really proud, and it's a pleasure to consider you a friend, even after such a short period of time. And you won't get rid of me so quick.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, Marcia, I've only been on the council for 2 years, but I've watched you and I've admired you. And when you told me how long you've been on council, I couldn't believe it. But, you know, I really appreciate you coming to me. Let me know that I can come to you if I have any questions or concerns. So I really enjoyed looking over at you, and I admire you, and I think you are a very special lady.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. So now I have to go to directors. I'm gonna start with Jean, because, well, Lee's been longer, but since Jean's up at the top, I'll go with Jean.
Don't read my record.
You haven't been called to her house that many times, have you? No, of course, I've been here now 22 years, and Marcia's been on council that whole period of time. And she's always been very supportive of the efforts of the police department, and complimented our officers many times, and I appreciate that. And I will have to echo what was said earlier about Marcia doesn't beat around the bush. If she has something to say, she says it, tells you the way it is, and actually that's something that I think most people should appreciate. And it didn't bother me too much. There was the longer in the window thing, there was a few little things like that. But no, it's been a pleasure working with you, and good luck, and hope to see you around here.
Thanks. So I'm sort of gonna go by seniority now, so Lee Courtney, but even that would be mixed between the two.
Well, 42 years together through thick and thin, what can I say?
Yeah.
Don't let it end here, stick around.
Thank you. And then it would be Mitch McCain, right? Would you be next in seniority? Or was it Mark?
Chief Newman, yes.
Well, thank you for being a dear friend of the city and a friend of the firefighters. You know, when you walk in the fire station, there's always pictures in the fire station of all the firefighters and the fires that they've had. But when you walk in our fire station, front and center on the wall, there's a picture of the firefighters with you on the fire engine. And it's the first thing you see when you walk in the fire station. I think it's from an event where you were mayor for a day, and they did that picture of you riding on the fire engine. But that's how important you are to them, and what a friend of the fire department that you've been for many, many years. And there's always a ride for you on the fire engine. You always want to ride on that fire engine, and it's always there for you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to hear that.
But thank you for all that you've done for the city, and all that you've done for us.
Finance Director Taylor.
I don't have any prepared comments, but there were a few things that struck me as I was listening to people talk about this. One of which is, it kind of boggled my mind that I'm the fourth most senior director in attendance.
Yeah.
But in the year and a half that I've been here, I guess another thing that struck me was the fact, and this sort of speaks to your dedication. When I heard the amount of time that you put in and the number of years, I did a little quick math in my head and came up with the fact that you've been doing this since I was in 3rd grade. So,
I didn't want to go there.
but I will say this, in the short time I've been here, the things that I most come to appreciate about you are your candor, your sense of humor, your great sense of humor, and from a personal standpoint, from where I stand, because in the short time I've been here, we've not been through easy times at times. You have been consistently kind. And I have worked with a lot of different legislative bodies, and you stand very high within the pantheon of the individuals that I've worked with. And it's been an honor to work with you. I will miss working with you on a weekly basis, but I'm hoping you will not be a stranger.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's toss-up between Carnoustie and Best. Which one?
Ladies first.
Okay, ladies first. Yes.
As I've been sitting here listening to the different comments, I sort of went back in my mind through the year and a half that I've worked with you. And like Mitch said, you know, it was really a challenge when I first started here. It wasn't the best of times, but I remember you sitting down with me and saying, you know, tell me what is going on with this gas station. And we went into the caucus room and I printed off everything and I thought, this is not going to go well. And at the end of the meeting, I felt like your intent was to give me a fair chance to do my job and to do the best I could, and that you wanted this to be a successful opportunity for me personally. I really felt that. Not just the gas station is in my ward, it's the major project that you have, and I'm going to make sure that it gets done. So I felt the sense that you cared about not just your ward, not just the community, not just the people of Richmond Heights, but you cared about me as a professional who started in a really difficult time. And I developed the utmost respect for you. And all through the summer, going back and forth to your house and seeing your beautiful garden, I got a chance to see you not just as a professional, but as a resident in this community, and I got to see that you really genuinely care about what happens in Richmond Heights as a professional, but also as a resident. And every time I think about, is that gas station going to get torn down, I think about you. So when it's finally torn down and there's grass, I'm going to come get you. We're going to have a picnic lunch right there. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Carnoustie?
Well, I feel honored because you always see me and you say, you call me kiddo. I like that because I've only known you for a year. I got 2 more weeks and it'll be my 1-year anniversary coming. But coming from another city and having council members for 27 years over there, you've been very kind to me here. And that's unusual because I wasn't that way in other places. And it's been nice to work with you. We do have a connection though. I hear a lot of resident complaints. You all should bring them to me as well. So I know I'll be hearing from you even though you're not on council. And I'll be glad to help you in any way possible.
Thank you.
It's nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So the floor is open again, so you all, out of any order, raise your hand and come to this podium over there, I suppose. You got that for me? So anyone like to, from the audience, comment? Yes?
Just wondering, Dave, I don't know if you've looked into this.
Do you want to go over there?
No, this is fine right here.
Okay, you're fine there?
Yeah, 42 years, I don't know if there's anywhere in Columbus where they keep statistics on people who've served on council. It strikes me that 42 years might be at the top of the pack, at least close to the top of the pack as far as longevity. And like I said, I don't know if there's a place in Columbus that they keep these kind of statistics, but it might be worthwhile to check that. I think if in fact Marcia is the longest serving council person in the state of Ohio's history, it'd be great publicity for the city of Richmond Heights. Wonderful for our town.
Oh, goodness.
Well, thank you. Councilwoman Sunshine?
So it's my pleasure to be here tonight, and I first want to say thank you for your service, and I really look up to you as a role model, as a strong woman in the political field, and that means a lot to all of us coming up behind you. And personally, thank you for welcoming me to your city after being elected to the county council as a new government elected official. I had to get to know all these communities, and you were there for me to welcome me and to teach me what was happening in the city and to work together on this gas station. which it all comes back to that. Right? So I hope that our work together and everybody else in this room will come to fruition, and I want to join you at this picnic when we have grass to celebrate the work we've done together. So good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll see you, and thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Well, I don't deserve this, but thank you, and I'm so honored, and I look out. Didn't want to do that, so I won't. But from the bottom of my heart, you'll always be in my heart. See
You'll always be in ours.
That's it.
So, audience, are there any comments, period, or anything else? We have no more correspondence, right? So our meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming tonight. Meeting is adjourned.